What if everything you've been told about making money is dead wrong? That your paycheck isn't the problem, your brain is? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Wealth doesn't start with your job, it starts with thoughts. 99% of people refuse to think. You've seen it before. Two people start in the same place. One builds an empire, the other stays stuck. Is it luck, talent, or something far more powerful? For over 20 years, a hidden study of 500 millionaires revealed 10 mental shifts that separate the rich from the rest. These aren't hustle tips or budget tricks. They're ways of thinking that literally rewire how money flows to you. And the craziest part, you already have everything you need to start using them today. Most people treat money like math. Work more hours, get more dollars. But that's why they stay broke. Real wealth operates by different rules. It's not about what you do, but how you see. The average mind is trained to spot lack, miss opportunities, and self-sabotage. But just like a radio can tune to different stations, your brain can tune to wealth. You just need the right frequency. Secret 1. The money magnet mindset. Let me tell you something that might sting a little at first, but stick with me. If you're constantly chasing money, you'll never catch it. That's right. The people who become truly wealthy aren't running after dollars. They've learned how to make money come to them. It's like the difference between being a dog chasing its tail and being the person holding the stake that every dog wants to get near. You've seen this play out in real life. That brilliant friend of yours who can solve complex problems in their sleep, but can't seem to get ahead financially. Then there's that average person you know who somehow always has money flowing to them. What's really going on here? It's not about intelligence or even hard work. It's about the invisible patterns in their mind that either repel or attract wealth. Your brain is constantly sending out signals about money, whether you realize it or not. Every time you say, "I can't afford that," you're not just making a statement about your bank account. You're programming your mind to see lack everywhere. But when you shift to "how could I afford that?" something magical happens. You activate the problem-solving part of your brain that wealthy people use daily. This isn't positive thinking mumbo-jumbo. It's practical neuroscience. The wealthy don't see a luxury car and think, "I'll never have that." They look at it and wonder, "What would I need to do to own that?" The first approach shuts down possibilities. The second opens doors you didn't even know existed. This is why two people can start in the same place financially and end up worlds apart. Their mental approach to money creates completely different realities. Here's where it gets really interesting. Your current financial situation is actually a perfect reflection of your deepest beliefs about money. If you secretly believe rich people are greedy or that money corrupts, your subconscious will sabotage your efforts to build wealth. But if you see money as a tool for creating freedom and helping others, your mind will start spotting opportunities everywhere. The shift begins with catching yourself in those little moments throughout the day. When a bill comes in, do you feel resentment or curiosity? When you see someone driving a nice car, do you feel envy or inspiration? These micro reactions are shaping your financial future more than any job or investment ever could. Start today by keeping a mental log of your money thoughts. Every time you think or say something negative about money, pause and rephrase it as a challenge to solve instead of a limitation to accept. This simple practice, done consistently, will begin rewiring your brain's relationship with wealth. Within weeks, you'll start noticing opportunities you were blind to before. Not because they weren't there, but because your mind wasn't tuned to see them. Secret 2, the 1% decision rule. There's a silent question that runs through the mind of every successful person before they make any choice, big or small. It's not what's easiest or what will make me happy right now. The question they're really asking is far more powerful. Is this what the top 1% in my field would do? This one habit creates more wealth than any investment strategy ever could. Why? Because while most people are distracted by short-term comforts and social approval, the wealthy are making decisions based on long-term results. They understand that every choice is either moving them toward abundance or away from it. There's no neutral ground. Think about how the average person spends their evening. Maybe scrolling through social media, watching whatever show is popular, and hitting snooze in the morning. Now consider what the top performers in any industry are doing with that same time. They're reading, planning, learning, or building, not because they're robots without desires for relaxation, but because they've trained themselves to recognize that small daily choices create massive compounded results. Your next 10 decisions will shape your next 10 years more dramatically than your current bank balance. That might sound like an exaggeration, but it's mathematical fact. Choosing to spend an hour learning a valuable skill instead of watching TV might not seem important today, but multiply that by 365 days, and suddenly you're looking at someone who's 365 hours smarter and more capable than the version of you who chose differently. This isn't about perfection, it's about direction. The wealthy miss workouts sometimes too. They have lazy days. The difference is, they don't let exceptions become the rule. They constantly course correct by asking that simple question, is this a top 1% choice? Start applying this today in small ways. Before checking your phone first thing in the morning, pause and ask what the most successful version of you would do instead. When deciding what to eat for lunch, consider which option would give you the most energy for your afternoon goal. These micro decisions might seem insignificant, but they're the building blocks of an entirely different life. The beautiful part? This rule works in reverse too. Every time you make a top 1% decision, no matter how small, you're literally reprogramming your identity to become the kind of person who makes those choices naturally. At first, it takes conscious effort, but over time, your brain begins to associate pleasure with productive choices and discomfort with wasteful ones. This is how wealthy people develop what others call discipline. It's not willpower, it's identity. They don't force themselves to make good decisions. They've become people for whom good decisions feel natural. And it all starts with that simple question, what would the top 1% do here? Ask it often enough, and one day you'll realize you've become the answer. Secret 3, invisible money doors. Most people walk through life staring at locked doors. They see obstacles, limitations, reasons why things won't work. But here's what they're missing. Every single door has a handle. The wealthy aren't magicians who can walk through walls. They've simply trained themselves to look for the handles instead of staring at the locks. Take that hobby you think is just for fun. The painting, the gaming, the gardening. What if I told you there are at least 17 ways to make money from it right now? You could teach it, write about it, create products around it, consult about it, build communities for it, license your knowledge, create tools for others doing it. The list goes on. Most people stop at maybe 3 obvious ideas, decide none will work, and give up. The wealthy make it a game to find all 17. Here's how this works in reality. That annoying problem you face every day at work, someone would pay to have that solved. That weird skill you have that seems useless, there's a niche group desperately looking for exactly that. The wealthy see money opportunities the way most people see stop signs. Everywhere. Constantly in the most unexpected places. The difference isn't in what they see with their eyes, it's in how they process what they see. Where most see a dead end, they see a detour sign. Where most see competition, they see potential partnerships. Where most see risk, they see calculated experiments. This isn't optimism, it's trained perception. Start this today with one simple practice. Take any obstacle in your life right now and force yourself to brainstorm 10 possible solutions or opportunities hidden within it. Not just 1 or 2, 10. The first few will be obvious. The next few will require creativity. The last few will surprise you. This is how you train your brain to spot handles instead of locks. You'll know this is working when you start seeing potential in places you used to dismiss. That coffee shop you visit every morning, suddenly you're noticing their inefficient processes that you could help streamline. That conversation with a friend about their work struggles, now you're hearing potential business ideas. The world hasn't changed. Your perception has. This mental shift is why some people seem to stumble into success while others grind without result. They're not luckier, they're simply operating with a different set of eyes. Eyes that see money doors everywhere because they've trained themselves to look for them. Secret 4. The $1 million self-talk. Your mind is always talking to you. Right now, as you read this, there's a running commentary in your head. And here's the terrifying truth. That voice is either building your fortune or bankrupting your future, and most people never realize they can change the script. Wealthy people treat their self-talk like a high-stakes business meeting. They wouldn't let an employee constantly trash-talk the company, yet most people allow their inner voice to sabotage them daily with phrases like, "I'm bad with money," or "I'll never get ahead." Every time you say these things, you're not just expressing a feeling, you're programming your financial destiny. The words you use about money create your reality faster than any action you take. Say money's tight often enough, and your brain will make sure that's always true. It will filter out opportunities, ignore solutions, and reinforce the belief. But shift to "I'm finding new ways to create wealth," and suddenly your mind starts working for you instead of against you. This isn't about lying to yourself, it's about directing your mental energy. When you see someone successful, you have two choices with your self-talk. They got lucky, which keeps you stuck, or what can I learn from them, which moves you forward. One thought costs you nothing, the other might cost you millions over a lifetime. The most powerful financial tool isn't your credit score, it's your internal dialogue. That voice determines whether you see problems or possibilities, whether you take risks or stay stuck, whether you persist or give up. The wealthy don't have special willpower, they've just cultivated self-talk that supports their goals instead of undermining them. Start auditing your money conversations today. Notice when you say or think things like, "I can't afford it," "money is hard to get," or "rich people." Every time you catch these, pause and rewrite the script. Not with empty affirmations, but with purposeful redirections. How could I afford this? Money flows to value. Where can I create more? What can I learn from successful people? Within weeks, you'll notice something remarkable. Your external circumstances will begin mirroring your internal dialogue. Not because of magic, but because you finally aligned your most powerful employee, your mind, with your financial goals. That's when everything changes. Secret 5. The 30-minute miracle. The first hour of your morning is the most valuable real estate you'll ever own. Most people waste it checking phones, rushing through routines, or drowning in yesterday's leftovers. But the wealthy? They guard this time like a sacred temple. Not for grinding, not for hustling, for thinking. 30 minutes of pure, uninterrupted mental clarity that compounds faster than any stock market investment ever could. This isn't about waking up earlier to cram more work into your day. That's what the mediocre do. This is about waking up to direct your mind before the world gets its hands on it. Picture your brain as a fresh whiteboard each morning. If you let social media, news, or other people's agendas write on it first, you've already lost. But if you take those first 30 minutes to deliberately design your mindset, that's when miracles start happening. Visualization isn't some mystical practice. It's mental rehearsal. When you spend 10 minutes vividly imagining your goals as already achieved, you're not daydreaming. You're programming your subconscious to recognize opportunities that align with that vision. The wealthy don't just hope for success. They've already experienced it in their minds hundreds of times before it manifests. Study time is equally crucial. Reading biographies of successful people isn't about copying their path. It's about absorbing their thinking patterns. 15 minutes with the right book can give you mental frameworks that would take decades to develop through trial and error alone. The key is consistency. Daily deposits of wisdom that accumulate into unshakable confidence. Planning is where the rubber meets the road. Not to-do lists, but strategic thinking about leverage points. The wealthy ask different questions in these morning sessions. What's the one thing that would make everything else easier? Who do I need to become to reach the next level? Where am I currently stuck, and how can I reframe this? Here's why this works so powerfully. Your morning mindset creates a gravitational pull that shapes your entire day. Start focused and intentional, and distractions bounce off you. Start scattered and reactive, and you'll spend hours trying to regain control. The 30-minute miracle isn't about time management. It's about mental sovereignty. Miss sleep if you must, but never miss this ritual. 5 hours of sleep with 30 minutes of directed thinking will outperform 8 hours with a chaotic start every single time. Because when you win the morning, you've already won the day before it begins. Secret 6. The circle of gold. Your current net worth is a near-perfect reflection of the 5 people you listen to most. This isn't a theory, it's a law of human nature. We unconsciously adopt the attitudes, vocabulary, and financial behaviors of our inner circle. One toxic money mindset in your orbit can silently cost you millions over a lifetime, while the right influences can accelerate your success beyond what you'd achieve alone. The wealthy understand this at a bone-deep level. They don't leave their associations to chance. Every relationship gets evaluated by one ruthless standard. Is this person raising or lowering my financial thermostat? It sounds harsh until you realize you're already being influenced every minute by the people around you. The only choice is whether it happens by accident or design. Most people surround themselves with financial mirrors rather than windows. Friends who reinforce their current limitations rather than challenge them to grow. Family members who mean well but speak from outdated money paradigms. Colleagues who bond over complaints rather than solutions. These relationships form an invisible ceiling that's nearly impossible to break through alone. Upgrading your circle doesn't require cutting people off, though sometimes it might. It starts with consciously adding new voices to the mix. For every hour you spend with people stuck at your current level, spend another with those already where you want to be. Read their books, listen to their interviews, study their decision-making patterns. Let these new voices begin rewiring your financial subconscious. The magic happens when your circle becomes a hybrid of three types. Mentors, those ahead of you. Peers, those beside you growing. And students, those you're pulling up. This creates a current of energy that lifts everyone involved. The wealthy don't hoard connections. They cultivate ecosystems where value flows in all directions. Start this week with one strategic addition to your circle. Join a mastermind, attend a networking event in a higher caliber space, or reach out to someone whose financial mindset inspires you. One new connection can introduce you to ideas that change everything. Remember, you'll never outgrow your closest relationships. If you want to change your financial reality, start by changing who gets to speak into it daily. Your future net worth is being written right now in the conversations you're having. Choose them wisely. Secret 7, failure fertilizer. Most people run from failure like it's a burning building. The wealthy, they study it like archaeologists examining precious artifacts. Here's why that makes all the difference. Every single no, every rejection, every setback contains the exact blueprint for your next breakthrough. If you know how to read it, think about how average people handle failure. They take it personally. They see it as proof they're not good enough. They let it stop them cold. Now watch how financially successful people operate. That same rejection, they're dissecting it like a lab experiment. What specifically triggered the no? Was it timing, presentation, pricing? They're not emotionally attached to the failure. They're intellectually curious about it. This is why some people seem to magically get better results over time, while others stay stuck. It's not luck. It's the scientific method applied to life. The wealthy approach failure like farmers approach fertilizer. It might smell bad at first, but it makes everything grow better next season. Start keeping a rejection log. Every time you hear no, record 3 things. 1, the exact certainties, what you can objectively learn, and 3, how you'll adjust next time. Do this consistently, and something remarkable happens. You stop fearing failure and start craving the data it provides. Most breakthroughs happen right after what feels like the final straw. The sale that comes after 20 rejections. The investor who says yes after 15 no's. The promotion that follows multiple passes. The people who quit at rejection number 5 never get to see what was waiting at number 6. Here's the mental shift. Stop viewing failure as the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every master was once a disaster. Every expert was once clueless. The difference wasn't talent, it was tolerance for the learning process. When you start seeing failure as valuable feedback instead of fatal judgment, everything changes. That job rejection, now it's free coaching on how to interview better. That failed product launch, now it's market research for your next offer. That investment that didn't pan out, now it's an education you couldn't have bought any other way. The wealthy don't experience less failure, they extract more value from each one. They understand that in the game of wealth creation, losses aren't penalties, they're tuition. Pay attention, learn the lesson, and you graduate to higher levels. Secret 8, the money mirror. Your bank account isn't just numbers on a screen, it's a reflection of how much value you believe you deserve to receive. This is the uncomfortable truth people avoid. Your outer finances always match your inner self-worth. Watch how people price their services. The ones chronically undercharging aren't being humble, they're broadcasting deep-seated beliefs about their own worth. The ones confidently charging premium prices, they're not greedy, they understand that value is subjective and self-determined. This shows up everywhere. The employee afraid to ask for a raise. The entrepreneur hesitant to increase prices. The investor passing on opportunities that feel too good for them. These aren't financial behaviors, they're self-worth behaviors wearing money masks. Here's how the wealthy think differently. They understand that money flows to value, but value is determined by the value. If you don't value yourself highly, why would anyone else? This isn't about arrogance, it's about accurate self-assessment. The moment you shift your self-perception, something strange happens. Opportunities appear that were always there. Clients suddenly agree to higher rates. Colleagues start recommending you for better positions. Investments come your way. The universe didn't change, your filters did. Start noticing your money language. I could never charge that becomes what would I need to believe to charge that? They'd never pay me more becomes how could I deliver 10x the value? These mental shifts alter your energy, your confidence, and ultimately your results. Your financial ceiling isn't determined by the market or the economy. It's set by your subconscious beliefs about what you deserve. Break through those and you'll break through every artificial limit on your earning potential. The money mirror always tells the truth. Are you ready to look? Secret 9. The 24-hour rule. There's a critical window between when an idea hits you and when it becomes another maybe someday fantasy. The wealthy know this window lasts exactly 24 hours. Miss it and the idea joins the graveyard of unrealized potential. Act within it and you've started something that could change everything. This isn't about reckless impulsivity, it's about decisive momentum. Most people wait to feel motivated before taking action. The wealthy understand the truth. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. That initial spark of inspiration contains enough energy to get you started if you harness it immediately. Think about the last great idea you had. Maybe it was a business concept, a career move, or an investment opportunity. How long did you think about it before the idea faded? Now consider how different your life might be if you'd taken just one concrete step within that first day. Not the perfect step, just any step that moved it from fantasy to reality. The 24-hour rule works because it bypasses your brain's resistance systems. Doubt, fear, and overanalysis need time to mobilize. When you act quickly, you outmaneuver them. That email you send, that phone call you make, that prototype you sketch. These small actions create tangible evidence that this idea is real, which fuels your belief in it. Wealthy people treat ideas like perishable goods. They know inspiration has a shelf life. That's why they'll make an imperfect website rather than wait for the perfect one. They'll have the uncomfortable conversation today rather than plan it for someday. They'll place the small test order rather than wait until they can afford the big one. Start applying this today. The next time an idea excites you, set a timer. You have one day to take at least one physical action that makes it more real than it was yesterday. It could be as simple as telling someone about it, buying a domain name, or researching the first step. The size of the action doesn't matter, the timing does. What you'll discover is magical. Each small action makes the next one easier. Momentum builds confidence. Progress fuels motivation. Before long, you've created something substantial from what was just a passing thought. The alternative, waking up at 50 wondering what happened to all those great ideas you had. The 24-hour rule isn't just about productivity, it's about honoring your creative potential. Every unrealized idea is a tiny death of possibility, but every acted upon idea, no matter how small the initial step, is a birth of something new. The choice happens in that first day. Secret 10. The legacy lens. Most people make decisions through a short-term filter. How does this make me feel now? The wealthy add a more powerful question: how will this affect me in 10 years? That simple shift in perspective is responsible for nearly every fortune ever built. This legacy lens changes everything. That extra hour watching TV, through the immediate lens, it's relaxing. Through the legacy lens, it's 365 hours a year that could have been spent building something meaningful. That impulsive purchase? Today it's exciting. A decade from now, it's another forgotten item in a long line of distractions from real wealth. The magic happens when you start projecting every choice forward, not just financial decisions, all decisions. The friends you keep, the habits you cultivate, the knowledge you pursue, each one compounds over time in ways that are nearly invisible day to day but staggering over decades. Wealthy people play chess with their lives, while others play checkers. They understand that today's choices are tomorrow's reality. That difficult business decision that pays off in 5 years, that investment in education that bears fruit down the line, that relationship they nurture despite no immediate benefit. This perspective explains why the wealthy seem to have luck with opportunities. They've been planting seeds for years while others were looking for instant harvest. When the right moment comes, they're ready, not because they predicted it, but because they positioned themselves to catch whatever winds blew their way. Start applying the legacy lens today. Before any significant choice, pause and ask, if I keep making decisions like this, where will I be in a decade? The answers will terrify and exhilarate you. That daily donut becomes future health problems. That daily reading becomes future expertise. That consistent saving becomes future freedom. The legacy lens isn't about denying present enjoyment. It's about balancing it with future rewards. The wealthy enjoy today too, but they do so knowing that real satisfaction comes from watching their past decisions blossom into present abundance. Generational wealth isn't created by lottery wins or lucky breaks. It's built one forward-looking decision at a time. The people who prosper long-term aren't necessarily smarter or more talented. They're just playing a longer game. When you start seeing your life as a decade-long masterpiece rather than a series of disconnected moments, everything changes. The legacy lens doesn't just build wealth, it builds a life worth remembering. These 10 shifts work like mental software updates. Install enough of them, and money starts behaving differently around you. Not because the world changed, because your mind did. You don't need more money, you need more of these mindsets. Start with just one this week, then another. Within months, you'll see doors open that you swear weren't there before. They always were, you just needed the right key.